From not being affected by the writer's strike, since its scripts are already finalized, to the second season having even more action and drama. Here's why House of the Dragon avoided the writer's strike, which is surprising considering many other shows were affected by it. And this includes popular series too, like Stranger Things. So how exactly has House of the Dragon flown away from all those troubles? Well, turns out the show's scripts were already done and finalized before the strike really took off. This meant that they didn't have any writing work that needed to be done. And so, the production can continue without any issues. Executive producer Ryan Condal, who's set to return for the HBO series' second season, stated that he's going to be present during the production. But as per the rules laid out in the strike, he's not going to help with anything writing related. So that means he can't help edit a script or provide any sort of network notes. So if there's a need for any last-minute script changes, I'm guessing Ryan's not going to be on the hook for that. As a producer, he can't really change gears and become a writer without violating the terms of the strike. But what's the strike even about? Well, every couple of years, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers meet up to discuss certain terms. Though this time, they had a falling out, leading to their contract with the Writers Guild of America to end. And just hours after that happened, the WGA responded by calling for an all-out strike. The strike rules have stated that WGA members must stop working, and this includes international members too. They simply can't participate in any projects that fall under the union's jurisdiction. So this means even with the show was filming in the UK, Ryan is still affected by it and can't continue to work on it in a writing capacity anyway. It's clear that this rule is beginning to affect the production of many shows across Hollywood. And it's only by sheer luck that House of the Dragon had its scripts done earlier, which helped it to continue sailing along. But of course, there's the problem of rewrites, and it's unclear how that'll play into it. Usually, during a shoot, certain scenes need to be rewritten or changed on the spot. This is usually because parts of the production didn't line up with what the writers initially intended. Usually, writers are present during most of production to help out with this process. But since writing work can't be done, it's possible that parts of the new season will end up getting postponed until after the strike is done. And depending on how long the strike lasts, the show might end up seeing some form of a delay after all, since they can't really ship the final product until it's fully finished, rewrites and all. So it's likely that while House of the Dragon might not be affected by the strike as much, there will still be some impacts and delays that fans should expect. And guess what? That's not the only strike the show dodged, because the series steered clear of the actors' strike too. Yeah, turns out everyone in Hollywood is out striking these days. From the writers to the actors, it's a total mess. Now, I totally get that they're trying to do it so they have better working conditions, but it's clear that this means that all of our favorite shows will have to wait a bit. Luckily, House of the Dragon's second season can continue production, even with the more recent actors' strike going on. This is because the strike is mostly being conducted by the Screen Actors Guild. SAG operates mostly in Hollywood and generally represents American actors. But in the case of House of the Dragon, a large part of the cast includes UK actors who've got their own union known as Equity. Obviously, if they'd been SAG actors who worked on the show, they'd be under an obligation to stop working and join the rest of their fellow actors on the picket line. But as Equity actors, they don't need to stop working. In fact, if they felt a bit too dramatic and stopped working, the actors could even be fired and sued for a breach of contract. So yeah, you can expect the show to arrive on your screen sooner or later. Though the same can't be said for a ton of other projects. Like I said, shows like Stranger Things and MCU movies like Blade have been most affected by all this. And unless a resolution is found between the WGA and television producers, it's likely that this dumpster fire will only continue to get larger and larger. But here's the thing, even with the show being in the clear, don't expect it to drop anytime soon. HBO chief Casey Bloys spilled the tea that we won't be getting House of the Dragon Season 2 in 2023. Instead, they're aiming for a more reasonable release date, sometime in 2024. Luckily, with the filming now going on without any interruptions, it might be sooner in 2024, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Now you might wonder, just why is the show taking so long? After all, for most of Game of Thrones' lifespan, fans enjoyed a fairly low downtime between seasons. Even George R.R. Martin himself wishes for yearly releases, just like Game of Thrones, but there are some fiery factors at play here. First off, the production scale is massive. They're shooting all over Europe, and you know those dragons demand top-notch CGI, which takes time. And if you've seen the finale of Season 1, you know the next season's gonna be even more action-packed than the first. More action, more CGI, more waiting. But get this, the reason for the delay has a little twist. Turns out, HBO started working on Season 2 only after the first season was already airing. Can you believe it? They wanted to see if we were still thirsting for the Thrones universe, which honestly I can't blame them for, considering how much fans hated the Game of Thrones finale. But once they saw how much we adored House of the Dragon, they began work on the second season. Hey, better late than never, right? And while waiting is tough, Ryan did reveal a couple of things to look forward to in Season 2. Condell stated that fans should get ready for some epic battles and dragon-filled action. But wait, there's more. Ryan wants us to really connect with the characters, so while you enjoy all the fiery action, you also know why they're fighting and just what they're fighting for. And for that, they're going to be diving into some character-driven stuff to make sure there's a healthy balance of both action and drama. Oh, and remember how Season 1 gave us those pesky time jumps? Well, luckily Condell heard our complaints, and Season 2 will have a lot less of those. The show has finally reached its main cast, and you won't have to worry about seeing entirely new faces every 3 episodes or so. And that's not all. As far as the tone and feel of the show is concerned, Ryan said that fans can expect it to be similar to the middle seasons of GOT. Considering those seasons tend to be the best ones from Thrones anyway, I think fans are in for a good time with House of the Dragon Season 2. Ryan also said that there's some big surprises on the way, especially some shocking moments, that might rival some of the most tragic scenes from Thrones. Yeah, remember the Red Wedding? Well, that's about to look like a birthday party compared to what Condell and the team have planned for Season 2. But here's the thing, they don't want to add stuff simply for the sake of shock value. Nope, they plan to have every death and tragedy really feel worthwhile. And as far as the story goes, it does look like an all-out war is about to start. So, remember how Alicent and Rhaenyra were trying to keep things chill and peaceful? Well, all that's about to go out the window. And it's all because poor Luke became dragon food for Aemon's Vhagar. And Rhaenyra is not buying that it was an accident. Oh no, she's ready to light the fires of war, fueled by grief and vengeance. She's not about being an eye for an eye anymore. Instead, she's gonna want a son for a son. Aegon's actor, Tom Glyn Carney, spilled the beans. And Season 2 is gonna have a ton more fire and blood. With a full-blown civil war about to go down, all the houses in Westeros are getting in on the action. So prepare to see some familiar names if you're a GOT fan. I'm talking about the Tullys, Aarons, Starks, and even the Baratheons. It's gonna be fun to see which house sides with the Greens, and who's gonna support Rhaenyra. So, from the second season having even more action and drama, to not being affected by the writer's strike since its scripts are already finalized. That was why House of the Dragon avoided the writer's strike.